I lived a lifetime in baseball, and it's carried me all the way around the world, and that was an experience. Where else can you lead the type of life that one leads in baseball? I'd say I got the privilege of leading an entirely different life than I had before. A life that a lot of people would have enjoyed having. And my biggest contribution is the fact that I revolutionized umpiring.
Well, Emmett Ashford was a flamboyant sort. I mean, he brought in the new moves to calling a man out on strikes or safer out.
Emmett loved the game, and it showed. And when he was behind home plate or when he was on the bases, the way that Emmett presented himself. I mean, Emmett looked like he had just stepped out of the tailor shop every time he stepped onto the field.
Emmett was dapper when he took the field itself. He had cufflinks. I mean, he was styling, and he would show the white sleeve underneath his jacket. I mean, he was right out of GQ.
You know, here's Emmett Ashford, the pioneer, who could call a strike and dance at the same time. And if he called you out, that hand is extended and the thumb up, and he was very emphatic with how he called it.
He was a very emotional guy, and he was unlike the standard umpire.
You had to see Emmett in order to love what he did. I mean, the first time that they'd throw a strike in there, it wasn't just strike, it was strike! And everybody in the stands would go, ooh, ah.
He became one of the most popular umpires in the nation. Emmett just was so exuberant when he called a strike. You know, when he called out, he did like a little dance. We thought he was classic, and Emmett was like what they called a showboat.
He knew that he had to have some kind of a show in order to move up.
He brought an energy to the game that most umpires wouldn't dare to do.
But all of that being said, there's one thing that is very clear. Umpires are never liked. But more important than that, you couldn't watch the game where Emmett was umpiring without noticing Emmett simply in his enthusiasm for the game. In Los Angeles, Emmett's home ground, there were 5 daily newspapers. So when you picked up the Los Angeles Times, the Los Angeles Herald Examiner, the Los Angeles Mirror, or the Los Angeles Herald Express, you saw pictures of games from the Pacific Coast League. And their games were on television, so there was a lot of media coverage that was there. So Emmett was a celebrity.
You know, Emmett was as well known as Sidney Poitier was. And if you talk about umpires, the first person they would bring up would be Emmett Ashford.
Ashford was an icon in Los Angeles, which is definitely a media center. And growing up in an environment which appreciated arts and culture, you know, he went to Chapman College, he was involved in the newspaper, he was very much a man of culture. And of course in Los Angeles, where he grew up, you had tremendous culture. I know, for instance, he was very much involved in music.
What brighter community could you come from for young Emmett Ashford? Central Avenue had always been the central point for African Americans. So for most cultural and social and religious activities, African Americans tended to always migrate back to the Avenue for some parts of their life. When the Dunbar opened in 1928 as the Hotel Somerville, the Alabama was just to the south, and the Dunbar and the Club Alabama kind of flourished. The Avenue was the hub, and this was a place where Hollywood came to slum. And there's a lot going on in Los Angeles. When Duke Ellington opened the vaudeville show Jump for Joy, he stayed at the Dunbar the whole time.
The influence of those individuals whether they were movie celebrities or stage performers. They in turn brought their own prestige to the area, and it made you feel like this, this is a great neighborhood.
The apex of the African American community were its newspapers. The California Eagle was founded in 1879. Emmett Ashford worked for Mrs. Charlotta Bass at the California Eagle while he was in high school and for a number of years afterwards. And that was a foundational experience because in that press room, it was a beehive of activity. And working for Mrs. Bass, someone like Emmett Ashford could learn a broad array of skills. The best jobs for any African Americans were civil service positions, working for the United States Postal Service. And if you were ambitious, you might strive for something higher.